by telling me that something terrible could happen to my father as well. I didn't know my father had been arrested. All of them were young, under 40. They were all people who were very young during the Civil War and were charmed by the idea of helping the Russian people.
Primakov, yet another tenant of the embankment house, is already under torture in the Lubyanka. At the trial, he will confess to treachery and offer the names of 70 officers working with the Germans.
One could say that by eliminating the people responsible for the country's defense, Stalin was conducting an act of state treachery. And what's more, he did these things in the full knowledge of the consequences.
Lawlessness has its own momentum. Even by Stalin's standards, due process is a farce. 2 weeks after Tukhachevsky is arrested, he is brought to a trial which lasts less than 4 hours, from 9 o'clock to lunchtime. Tukhachevsky, Uberevich, Primakov and 4 others are found guilty. On the night of June the 12th, 1937, all defendants are shot. Tukhachevsky's interrogation file, recovered from the archives, is stained with his blood. Tukhachevsky's death is the signal for the most concentrated bloodletting yet seen. Nearly half the whole command staff of the Army and Navy are murdered. As Stalin's crony, the incompetent Voroshilov, reported, the Red Army has been cleansed of more than 40,000 officers. Those left in the army staffs are totally paralyzed. All military initiative is destroyed.
All this led to a feeling that the country had been bled dry, and Germany knew this, and some of their officials were even heard to say, "What are the Russians doing? This is madness."
Adolf Hitler, the Austrian, Joseph Stalin, the Georgian, now face each other as the clock ticks away the last hours of peace in Europe. They each lead powerful nations, but Germany has been honed and tested. Its people are unified and confident. At what we can see now as the end of the first period of Stalin's rule, he has created a Soviet Union immensely more productive than the nation he inherited from Lenin, but the weaknesses are equally terrible. The Soviet Union has an army demoralized and rendered fearful. Its individuality and initiative dangerously crushed. Adolf Hitler, meanwhile, knows that victory in the coming struggle will go to the nation that is confident in its leaders, positive in its beliefs. His nation is prepared for war. But for the Soviet Union, the great question still hangs fire. In the crisis to come, will the people be able to put the horrors of the 1930s behind them? Will they be able to regain the courage, the commitment of their early faith? When war comes, will the people of the Soviet Union be prepared to fight?